Devils 20 on YouTube. Hope you're all having a fantastic Wednesday evening. Hope you had a good day. Hope you had a good week. Hope you're all looking forward to another round of weekends in May 2024 this year. First of all, do me a massive favour for me. Hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. United Red Devils 20 on YouTube. Share the video. Hit the tweet button, hit the retweet button, and remember to always put the notification bell on at all times to receive dedicated content right throughout the rest of this year in 2024 on United Red Devils 20 on YouTube, Brandon. Fortnite, Rocket League, EAFC. We've got Formula 1 24 and 25. We're going to be doing GTA 6. We've got the summer transfer window covered right throughout this year in 2024 as well. Once the season comes to a conclusion, once all the football has finished, we're going to have the European, EFL, and especially the Premier League transfer news coming in right throughout the summer transfer window as well. And thank God we have finally found a win at Old Trafford. Our first win in 4 games. Manchester United 3, Newcastle United 2 at Old Trafford in the season with a late Rasmus Højlund winner, setting up a final day crunch match with Brighton and Albion away at the Amex on Sunday evening on the final day of the 2023-24 Premier League season, where United's European hopes are much still alive, but it is only just. I mean, without that Rasmus Højlund late winner today, the United dream of any European football next season could have been absolutely tarnished. I mean, thank God we found the third goal. Thank God we found the final clinching goal to get us over the line. But at the end of the day, United have got very lucky today to, get that win over the line. And please hit the like button as well. Our European hopes are still very much alive. I mean, without the third goal, this would have ended in a draw. And I think the scare that we got right at the end where Lewis Hall bagged his second goal as a Newcastle United player at Old Trafford, it was very nervy ending. Honestly, it was backs against the wall. It was crunch time, and it all of a sudden it became squeaky bum time. But we have finally managed to beat Newcastle this season, which has been a very tough game for Manchester United this evening. Obviously going 1-0 up early on. I honestly didn't expect Man United to win this game. I was expecting quite a convincing Newcastle win, especially with the results we've had in our last 3 Premier League games. I honestly couldn't see Manchester United getting anything from where and how we've been performing. It simply hasn't been good enough on any level from Manchester United in their last 3 Premier League games. But we found something from somewhere to get over the line. And I think, the European hopes are still alive. The European dream is still very much alive heading into Sunday evening. I'm just very grateful that we found the late winning goal to get us over the line. Because once Lewis Hall got that second Newcastle goal, you start to worry. You start to think to yourself, this might not be our night. I mean, could Man United throw a 3-1 lead away? I mean, 97th minute, you're absolutely panicking and you're probably biting at nails. You're absolutely getting agitated and frustrated and quite anxious to see that final whistle blow. And thank God it did, because Man United got over the line, but it was only just. Again, it was probably our best performance in 4 games. I mean, I've not seen that attacking intent from Manchester United for a very long time. And you have to question where it's been. Maybe the change of team has helped today. Maybe having Amrabat in the team and Ahmad has changed the attacking and defensive approach a lot more suitable for United style of play. And maybe Ten Hag's maybe realised that I've got to make some changes to obviously get this team over the line today, because I honestly couldn't see United scraping by. It was seeming like a game that we honestly couldn't win, and I was worried because it could have ended badly. I mean, as soon as Newcastle got the equaliser, it was again very backs against the wall, trying to find something from somewhere to try and find that win. And I'm grateful we've got it, because we head into Sunday evening now and we have to beat Brighton. And greetings from Italy from Lee Lacoca. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new, and please hit the like button as well on the channel and on this community as well. I'm just grateful we've got over the line, because when Newcastle get that goal, you do worry where United are going to be able to find that second goal. And to be fair, we did react very quickly. I think when Newcastle got the equaliser, I mean, it was a very disappointing defensive structure from Man United's back four again to let Newcastle straight back into the game into the second half, especially when you are 1-0 up. You're thinking maybe United can build on the lead, maybe go and find the second goal, and maybe try and put this Newcastle team away, because Newcastle have always got players that can do a lot of damage. Newcastle have always got a threat that can oppose onto United's goal, and that is exactly what Newcastle's approach was in the second half. They had nothing to lose, they had nothing to fear, and they had nothing to worry about. United do concede a lot of goals, and again, that has been exposed by the 2 goals that Newcastle unfortunately have put past Onana today. And I think at the moment, United, I've got very, very lucky to find anything from this game. And yeah, Man United need to get rid of at least 12 to 13 players. I completely agree with Lee in the chat. We need a mega, mega rebuild in the summer because I don't think the displays are pretty. I don't think the performances are that great. I think United are getting by only just an odd goal. And I think United have got to be beating teams like Newcastle. Newcastle haven't really had this season. I think their Champions League football journey has absolutely exposed the defensive worries of Newcastle. And I think without certain players stepping up in a Newcastle shirt, that is where Newcastle are left very, very vulnerable. And I think in the end, that has probably cost Newcastle today. I think the second goal absolutely killed them because of the goal they found the equaliser very, very early on. And then I think, the Rasmus Højlund third goal, I mean, he only be on the pitch 2 or 3 minutes and has an instant impact off the bench. And again, I was quite surprised that, Rasmus didn't start today. And the approach was Ten Hag, well, I've got to keep Rasmus fresh. I can't really play him every game. But again, we have seen quotes from last season and especially this season where Ten Hag has gone about the lack of goals, and the lack of goals being in the back of the opposition net. And Ten Hag has banged on about that all season long. And I think for me, leaving your star striker on the bench was a bit of a negative because I think if you would have gone with Rasmus in the first half, I think Newcastle were very, very open. That is what I was very, very surprised about. I was quite surprised by Newcastle's approach. I'm thinking, knowing how vulnerable Manchester United are and how quickly we seem to switch off and how many goals we do concede, you do expect Newcastle to go into the game as favourites. And again, you know, to be fair, we did start the game very well. I thought for the first 15 to 16 minutes of the game at Old Trafford, I do feel Manchester United controlled the game. I do feel Manchester United were the better of the two teams. And I do feel, in my view, in my opinion, that Newcastle have absolutely missed a stonewall opportunity to do the double over Man United this season and basically get 3 wins against them, which is something Newcastle never really do. And I think today Newcastle have probably missed out on European football. Obviously, it is going to go down to the final day of the season where United have got to beat Brighton and Newcastle have got to lose or draw against Brentford. So we can't afraid to rest on our laurels. We've got to take this win into Sunday's away game against Brighton at the Amex, which again, they lost to Chelsea tonight. Brighton haven't exactly been the team they were last season under Roberto De Zerbi, and I think maybe the distraction of De Zerbi being linked to the Bayern Munich and Manchester United job has absolutely caused Brighton so much panic in the last few weeks. I think Brighton have really, really struggled to adapt with Roberto De Zerbi being in the Brighton hot seat, and I think, now he's being linked with several big European clubs. A distraction of that has probably cost Brighton's season. And I think for me, I wouldn't want Roberto De Zerbi anywhere near the Manchester United manager's job. I think after tonight, I think you saw the speech from Ten Hag that he wants the fans behind the players, and these players are going to promise to give their all in the FA Cup final. I think we can't afford just to rest on the FA Cup final. And I think we've got to win on Sunday. I wouldn't just rest on the FA Cup and then don't bother about winning the weekend. I think we've got to carry on with the mentality from tonight. It's the best performances we have seen in 4 bloody games. I mean, it's taken Man United 4 games to wake up. I mean, if you can't beat Burnley, you can't beat Palace, and you can't get anything against Arsenal, then you start to worry where the points are going to come from and where Man United could be able to pick anything up. But I think in the end, United did deserve the win based on the overall performance of the game. I think, we controlled the first half. I think Newcastle were quite shocked by the display Man United were putting on. I think Newcastle expected to go to Old Trafford and absolutely rip us apart. I think the mentality of the Newcastle players probably thought this is going to be a walk in the park today, and we can probably get 3 wins in a season against Manchester United that has never been done in football history, as well as Newcastle's history. And I think today has proved that Newcastle under Eddie Howe are still quite leaky in defence. I do feel like certain players are carrying that Newcastle team, and I think Newcastle after tonight are going to have a major, major struggle to be able to hold on to most of their major European players because they're not going to be in Europe next season. I think Man United in the end will get the job done on Sunday. I think if we can go into Sunday and we win, it's not the competition we want to be in. Europa Conference League is major, majorly embarrassing. Again, it's not where Man United need to be. It's not where I want to be as a fan or supporter of this club, but being in Europe is better than being in nothing at all because it's just a major embarrassment for the fans. It's a major embarrassment for supporters, and Manchester United need to do a lot better going into the game. And I think this win tonight will boost the confidence and the mentality of these players going into Sunday evening, where if you can beat Brighton, we've managed to get into European football and only just. And I think tonight United are clinging on to Europe, but again, it's only just. It's nothing pretty at the moment. It is becoming very, very squeaky bum time. I think United are scraping by with their performances, but I think tonight I saw a lot better Manchester United performance in terms of the players stepping up. I've not seen anything like that from the players in the last three games. Maybe they've maybe taken their foot off the gas a little bit, or maybe the tactics of Ten Hag hasn't really helped the players in certain aspects of their game. I just don't see where Man United have what found this performance from. I mean, it's quite frustrating that when you've seen your team win tonight, you question where the hell's that been from the last three performances. And I think it's basically down to Ten Hag has had to change things up. Ten Hag is doomed without certain players in that first team. I think you saw the admiration of having Bruno Fernandes back in that midfield, but again, he did go off and he did feel his hamstring in the second half behind his left leg. So again, that is a major problem. If Bruno Fernandes has got injured, it is a major worry, because if we lose him for Brighton, we could lose him for the FA Cup final against Man City. And Postecoglou, I suppose, would be great if Ten Hag was to leave. Conference League should be better, use for use, get them game time, see who's got it. Ahmad is better player than Anthony. Yeah, I mean, the Europa Conference League is a good competition. It's not where everybody wants to be, but a lot of European sides have done well by going into the Europa Conference League, and they're becoming very, very successful in their leagues. And I think for me, that is quite an admiration that some of these European sides are taking this quite seriously. I know the Europa Conference League is not the end all of end all. You haven't got to win it. It doesn't really matter. It's a competition that you can and cannot win. But at the end of the day, it's a competition that Man United are going to have to take seriously, because you're going to want a European trophy win. You're going to want this Man United team to go. You're going to want them to go and win a European trophy. And Ahmad as well. I mean, let's talk about him for tonight. I think we have seen the very best of what Amad Diallo can do in a Man United shirt, and I completely agree with Lee in the chat that Ahmad is a better player. Let's all be honest here. And I think even Spurs can't win against them. And again, that says a lot. Spurs can't even win against them. But Amad Diallo tonight, I mean, let's talk about the admiration I've got for Amad Diallo. A player that has been, frustrated by the lack of game time. A player that has deserved more opportunities than what we've seen this season. A player that I feel has been neglected by Ten Hag. A player that I think I believe in very, very much. And a player that I've got all the admiration for. I think, Eric Ten Hag has, absolutely, I think I think tonight we have seen that Amad Diallo can actually do something. I think we feel like Amad Diallo can do something on the right wing, and that is what I've been calling out for all season. And everyone, please subscribe in the chat if you're new, and hit the like button as well. Massively appreciate all of you on this live stream tonight. This is the first one I've ever done on my phone, because I am having technical issues with my laptop. I don't understand what's happened to my camera or my webcam, and I'm going to try and sort it out after. I just don't know what has actually happened to my camera on my laptop, so I'm going to have a look at that. But it's my first live stream on my phone that I'm able to do. So yeah, Amad Diallo, like I said, has been massively not been given the chance or opportunities at Eric Ten Hag this season. I don't know why he's not been given the game time. I don't understand why he's not been given the opportunity to prove himself as a Manchester United player. But I think Amad Diallo has got the quality, he's got the skill, and he's got the goals in him that can make that right winger's position his own. I think Anthony now, obviously, if you've seen the rumours from this morning, is going to be sold in the summer. We all thought Anthony would have been the option on that right wing. We all thought Anthony was the answer when we brought him in from Ajax. We paid 85 million. We were absolutely washed. We were absolutely rinsed by Ajax. And we were absolutely shown that it's not been good enough, is it really? It's been shocking from Anthony since he's been at this bloody football club. Anthony's not been good enough. 85 million has basically gone down the drain again because of Anthony. And Amad has basically shown tonight that he's ready to step up. Amad Diallo is fully ready to be a Man United starter full time. And I think Ten Hag has got to realise it now that this is the option on the right wing you need. This is the guy you need on your right wing, because the goal he's taken tonight, I mean, it's a brilliant goal from inside the Newcastle penalty area. I think he's taken his goal very well, and he's absolutely blasted it into the bottom right hand corner of Dubravka's net. And you've got to feel sorry for Dubravka, because he was at Man United, wasn't he? If you remember when we brought Dubravka in on loan, I mean, that was a signing that no one wanted at Man United. Fancy Man United buying Dubravka, but it shows that Ahmad's got the quality. It shows that Ahmad has got the skill. It shows that Amad Diallo has got the passion to make that right wing position his own. And I think now he's the right wing pop starter. He has to be starting games for Man United, because if Amad Diallo can keep producing that on a regular basis, it shows that the money that we invested in him is going to come off and, you know, help United massively in the future. And I do believe he's got the skill to become one of the best right wingers in the world. And he's basically shown these other right wingers that have treated Man United like a little clubhouse. It's shown these players that if you step up and take your opportunity, this is the chances you're going to get under Erik Ten Hag. This is what you can do in a Man United team. This is what you can do if you put the performances and the dedication in to show what you've got. Because Amad Diallo has got everything in him to be a top baller. And I believe tonight, after the goal he's taken, he should be given that opportunity to prove himself as a Manchester United player. He's got everything about him to cause absolute opposition many problems. And you saw it inside the first half. For me, he was Manchester United's best standout player. For me, he was very unlucky not to get the first goal. Obviously, it was a very good save by Dubravka. Dubravka really should have, you know, collected the ball really from the Amad Diallo shot instead of palming it straight back into the Newcastle penalty area, where you've got a load of Man United players causing danger. And I think, you know, he was causing Newcastle a hell of a lot of problems. I think, you know, having Fabian Schär, Dan Burn, and Kieran Trippier in the Newcastle back four, I think they couldn't cope with Amad. And that, for me, was very surprising. I think Amad, you know, he needs a lot more game time. I completely agree with Lee again in the chat. Amad Diallo is a top baller. He's just not been given the opportunity to do it. And I think in the last two games, you've realised that Amad Diallo, and maybe Ten Hag's had an apple hit on his head, but I think Erik Ten Hag maybe has realised, do you know what? I was wrong about Amad Diallo, and I should have given him the opportunity when he should have been given it. And I think for me, now is the time to give Amad Diallo the deserved game time he deserves. I think for me, he's one of the contenders for man of the match today. And I think for me, he deserves to be in this Man United team full time. I don't worry about Amad Diallo not being a full-time starter for this football club. I think Amad Diallo has got everything in him to become a top footballer at this football club. If he's given the opportunity and he's given the chance to prove himself, he is going to be at this football club for a very long time. And he is clearly the answer on the right wing. We thought Pellistri was the answer. We thought Sancho was the answer. We've tried Garnacho out there. We've tried Rashford out there. We've tried so many players out on that right wing, and clearly none of them have worked. I mean, Rashford's not a right winger. Garnacho's not a right winger. Pellistri should have never been brought. That was down to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Again, lack of recruitment or lack of any structure of what players to bring into the football club or get rid of. And Amad Diallo was probably a gem in the rough that, you know, he needed that step up from Atalanta. I think all that money that we paid for him was taken out the Sancho budget when we first wanted Jadon Sancho. If anyone can remember that summer where we wanted Jadon Sancho, and we were still trying desperately to get him out of Dortmund, and Dortmund weren't budging, and United basically turned the towel in and threw the towel in, basically couldn't be bothered to get Jadon Sancho. And maybe that was a blessing in disguise not getting him, because his United career hasn't exactly taken off, as it, since he's been at this football club. And Amad Diallo, I mean, he doesn't throw his toys out the pram. He keeps himself professional. He keeps his head down. He focuses on his game, what he can improve, what he can do better. You don't see Amad throwing his toys out the pram. You don't see Amad slagging off the manager. You don't see Amad throwing his toys out the pram. That is because he's still very young. He's still very fragile. He's very talented. He's still got a lot of learning and development to do. But I think tonight, he is the answer to United's problems. And if he can become the answer on that right wing, United have got an absolute monster on the right wing. And I think Amad tonight shows why he should be starting games for Man United on a regular basis. And I'm hoping now he will be getting that game time, because I do believe he deserves it. I do believe Amad now deserves his time to be at right winger for Man United's problems, because Newcastle could not bloody cope. Newcastle couldn't cope all day. I mean, the first 15-16 minutes, I honestly thought the Man United floodgates were going to open. I honestly thought that Newcastle team was so wide open. I was quite shocked by the level and the standard of football that Newcastle are producing, because I've seen Newcastle in so many games this season. They've battered us twice at St James's, and they knocked us out of the Carabao Cup. they battered us on 2 occasions this season, and they've come to Old Trafford tonight. And I think, do you know what? They've probably thought, you know, this game's won. We don't really need to worry about it. We probably can go to Old Trafford and get something. But Man United needed that win more tonight. I can't understand how much that means to me. Man United needed that win more tonight instead of Newcastle, because Newcastle are going to realise they've screwed themselves up here. They're going to lose a lot of their players now, because a lot of their players are going to realise, well, we have fallen off the cliff since we've got back into the Champions League. We're going to lose half these players because we've now got to sell, because we've overspent and given players ridiculous new contracts as the new ownership has come into Newcastle United Football Club. And now they've realised that the path without European football, Newcastle are going to be fucked. Newcastle are going to be absolutely screwed next season. And I think for me, that is why I've seen Newcastle's levels drop off a cliff lately. I've not seen that same Newcastle side all season. I've not seen that same Newcastle side that was really starting to build under Eddie Howe. I don't know why they've fallen off. I don't know why all of a sudden their performances aren't there. But Eddie Howe has started to sound like Eric Ten Hag. I do believe Eddie Howe is coming up with excuses that the team is playing so many games every week. I've got so many injuries that I can't deal with. At the end of the day, that is no excuse from Eddie Howe. You can't start turning into Eric Ten Hag. You've got to try and get on with it and do your job as a manager. You've got to get Newcastle results on the pitch. And Newcastle have fallen off a cliff. Newcastle have gone from 4th to 7th. Man United, even though we've won tonight, we are still 8th. At the moment, that's still no European football. And if we don't win the FA Cup, that's going to be a whole season without any of it. And again, that is embarrassing if you don't get European football. We need European football because the money the club is going to lose. And the Glazers, as Jim Ratcliffe, are not going to like it. If we don't get European football, I know I don't want to be in Europa League. I don't think one Man United fan or one Man United supporter is going to want to be in Europa Conference League. Not one of them is going to want to be in it. We're not getting Europa League. We can't do that now. The job for that is basically impossible. We can't get Europa League football, so we can't finish 6th. We can only finish 7th, and again, that is fucking embarrassing. I mean, you've got Tottenham above us, Villa have got Champions League football, Newcastle above us. We can only get 7th, so we've got Tottenham in 5th, Chelsea in 6th, Newcastle in 7th, and there's Man United in 8th. We need Europa Conference League football. Because I don't think we all want to be in it, but we're going to need it because players are going to want to have to come here to play Europa Conference League football. But the problem is, our top players going to want to come here if United are in a competition like that. But you see, you look at the aspect of Fiorentina from Serie A in Italy. They've got to the final 2 years in a row. You've got to applaud that because that is, you know, the aspect that they're going to go again. They're not afraid to go again. And I think for me, that shows a lot about the quality in Serie A. That shows a lot of quality that they're going to come back and do it again. And they've done it again. I mean, you look at Olympiacos. I thought Aston Villa were going to win the Europa Conference League by an absolute mile. I thought Aston Villa have got this. There is no way Aston Villa cannot win the Europa Conference League because they were the better team. The results and the goals they were producing, they were knocking out some big quality European teams. And look at Aston Villa now. They may not have Conference League football or Europa League football, but look where they are now. They are back in the Champions League for the first time in 41 years. Again, for me, as a Man United fan, that's very embarrassing. I don't want to see other clubs finishing above us, but I've got to understand the aspect. Man United have absolutely fallen off a cliff. And again, Lee is right. Man United can't attract big players more. There's big troll for the next 3 years. Takes ages to rebuild, yeah. And again, he said Sesko has been linked, yeah. Sesko would be a good player, but I think Man United at the moment need an experienced striker to go with Rasmus. I don't see us really having to go with a less experienced striker. We have got to sign an experienced striker in the summer because Rasmus Højlund proved tonight he's the only striker we've got. He's the only hope we've got up front. Because, I mean, the substitutions again tonight, I don't think really added anything into the game. I mean, bringing Ericsson on, probably his last ever game for Man United. I think that will be his career over at this football club. Johnny Evans, Martial, Raphael Varane, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Casemiro. There's a lot of players tonight that have said their last goodbye, and that is a good thing. It's sad, but it's the reality that this football club needs a rebuild. And yes, it's going to be sad to see these players go, but some of these players have not been good enough since day one, and the football club have finally hit the nail on the head and finally all of a sudden woke up their coma and basically realised we need to change this because Man United are sinking and are sinking faster again. and it's happening year by year and season by season. And Lee again has said Bayern Leverkusen are a great example, 50 games unbeaten. Exactly. If you give a manager the backing and you give them the players and you give them investment that is needed in that Bayer Leverkusen team, I mean, he didn't really want the Bayer Leverkusen job. I think he was managing Real Madrid. Was it Real Madrid's B team? He was managing at the time when Alonso took the Leverkusen job, and he took it in an absolute heartbeat. And I didn't expect Bayer Leverkusen to go 50 games unbeaten, but again, those European sides, this is what Man United should be doing. And tonight says quite a lot about the performance. The first 16, 50 minutes, we were absolutely brilliant. Like, you think, so where has this been? Maybe the players have woke up. Maybe the manager has given them a rocket. But something woke up tonight. I've not seen that Man United in ages. And again, you question where all this has been. And it's, and greetings to Robert from New Zealand as well. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new, and please hit the like button on this first live stream on my phone, because obviously my laptop is having a few little technical issues tonight. God knows why. But yeah, tonight says quite a lot about United are still lacking quite a lot of quality in the midfield. The defence is still quite iffy when you've got Johnny Evans and Casemiro at centre back. Again, does that ever get anyone any type of confidence to feel comfortable in a full 90 minutes? And the midfield as well, again, tonight says quite a lot that the midfield still needs a lot of work. I mean, we miss Bruno Fernandes so much. We saw it against Arsenal. We saw it against Palace. We've got no midfield, have we? If we're being really, really honest here. We have got to be really, really surprised how bad our midfield actually is. I mean, Mount was a bad signing. Eriksen was a bad signing. McTominay ain't no good. Hannibal Mabry isn't going to make it. He ain't good enough. We've basically got Mainu and Fernandes. That is all we've got. That's the midfield options. And again, tonight, that is why United struggled against Burnley. That is why we struggled against Palace. And that is why we struggled on Sunday. Because without Bruno Fernandes, who, again, is showing why, I'm his biggest fan. I love the player. But obviously, he's had moments this season where he's been bloody dreadful. But it shows tonight in that midfield, we've got no midfield without Fernandes in it. We've got no midfield. And it shows a lot tonight when you've got a quality young player like Kobbie Mainoo, who is finding the back of the net more on a consistent basis. That is why Kobbie Mainoo is learning very, very quickly off Bruno. He's learning quickly. And the goal he took tonight, I mean, he puts himself in a very, very good onside position, and it's an easy tap in. I mean, when you think he takes the touch, you're thinking, please don't mess this up. He's taken the touch before he unleashes the shot. Please don't mess this up, because this is going to look really, really bad if he messes this up. And I think tonight you're glad that he did take that touch, because he absolutely blasts it past to Bravka, the Newcastle goalkeeper, to give United lead. And you think to yourself, we've actually found the lead for the first time in how many games? And how many times have we actually struggled to put the ball in the net? And you think to yourself, great, let's build on that lead. But Newcastle did come back into it. We took our foot off the gas, and we started to let Newcastle have chance after chance after chance after chance. And you think to yourself, time's going to tell here. If we don't find this second goal, they're going to find that equaliser, because the chances they had in that first half, Newcastle should be doing a hell of a lot better. And I agree with Lee. Bruno has been linked with Bayern Munich. Mount has been a disaster, and Bruno needs a Kante type player in the mid who will do the donkey work and let Bruno go forward. Exactly, we need that. But I think that's why we've 't Mainoo in this team, because Mainoo can get more forward and do that other midfield role. You can't trust the others. I think that is a big aspect. None of our midfielders can do the job what Bruno Fernandes and Mainoo do. None of the others can do it. And that is the sad reality. The midfielders we've got at this club are simply ain't good enough. If you're going to look at Mount's injury record, he needs that 7 shirt taken off him. He needs to be sold in the summer. I don't care if no one likes it. Mount has been a disaster. If Mason Mount's here in the summer, that's a joke. If that is the reality, that we are going to keep Mason Mount and Scott McTominay, that ain't good enough. And if you're even going to keep Hannibal Mabry, please do not do it, because that is not the answer going forward. You need another Mainoo. You need another Fernandes. You need to get rid of the problematic players at that football club. And we all know who they are. And again, tonight, it is sad that we are saying goodbye to a lot of the players. But tonight is a reality that the performances still need a hell of a lot of improvement, because we are still conceding too many goals. We are conceding way too many chances. And we are way too open. there's a lot more positives tonight, but there's still a hell of a lot of negatives. And it's quite easy to pinpoint them and point them out. Again, you don't want to have to talk about negative about Manchester United. You want to be positive. You want to be happy. I'm happy we've won. It's a first win in 4 games. I mean, it's been that long that we have found a win. I mean, the relief and the reality is the job's still not done here. We can happy and be celebrated we've won and we got 3 points. But when Newcastle get that second goal, I mean, Lewis Hall, I mean, how Chelsea have let this talented player go to Newcastle is idiotic. Management from top to bottom at Chelsea Football Club is a joke. The management on the recruitment on letting these young talented players go, like Lewis Hall, to go to Newcastle on loan with a permanent option, that is idiotic management from Chelsea Football Club, because he has got quality written all over him. And Varane is gone now as well. Exactly. Raphael Varane is leaving Man United at the end of the season. Again, it's the reality. The injuries haven't helped, and we've got to pay the price for that. And apparently, we offered him a new contract, but he also said, well, that contract isn't good enough for the one I wanted. So basically, we've had to let him go for free. Again, we could have really sold him instead of we could have given him a new contract and then sold him anyway for a bit of money. But again, we've got to say goodbye now and rebuild the defence. So what are we talking about then? What are we talking about? So yeah, like, the reality is now we need to build on tonight and take this into Sunday. Like, there's still so much work this Man United team need to do. There is so much still that is needed in this team. We need another Fernandes. We need another Mainu. We need another striker, because again, the options going forward tonight. I mean, I didn't agree with Ten Hag's tactics. Again, it was quite shocking that you've got most of your first team players back from injury. Marcus Rashford, Lisandro Martínez, Bruno. It was quite frustrating to see, Martínez, if he's fully fit to play, let's start him. Willy Kabwala on the bench. Again, is Johnny Evans is getting over Kabwala, which again, I don't think is fair on a youngster. Has got a lot more talent and a lot more aspiration going forward defensively, instead of Johnny Evans that should be collecting his pension by now. He needs to be let go in the summer. I think Ten Hag really is still lacking quite a lot of technical and tactical management up here. I feel like that team selection tonight wasn't exactly great. I think Ten Hag needs to have a massive, seriously long look at that club and look at his best team going forward and his best starting 11. Would you take De Gea back? I think we've got to. I think the way we treated him, the way we've handled it, isn't going to convince him, because we let him go and it wasn't acceptable. And I find that was unfair on David De Gea. And I find that, he shouldn't have been treated the way he was treated. But he was making a lot of mistakes. But I'd rather have had him in goal than Onana, because Onana's conceded way too many goals this season. We've conceded way too many shots. I mean, it's the first time we've conceded over 600 in a season. And I think we've nearly conceded. I think we've conceded 84 or 83 goals this season now. Not exactly the right number I'm on, but we're conceding way too many goals, and that was evidence tonight that we simply can't do our defensive job properly. Playing Casemiro at centre-back next to Johnny Evans is a disaster waiting to happen. I don't understand why Ten Hag doesn't have 2 traditional centre-backs at centre-back. Would you not use a bit of common sense and go with your 2 traditional centre-backs, get Casemiro back at that CDM role? You've got Mainu and Fernandes in front of him, and then you've got Garnacho and Ahmad. And who else played? It was Garnacho, Ahmad. Oh yeah, because then McTominay started as well. So I don't think that formation helped Man United in any way. I don't think, for me, that is the way going forward at all. I think that is a disaster also waiting to happen. I think playing a false 9 is quite pathetic. Like, you have got a striker on the bench who can score goals. And I know you want to keep players fresh, and I get that. But when you've got Ten Hag banging on about we are lacking goals, we need a goal scorer, we need a striker, but you've lost Rashford to injuries too many times, you've got an injury-prone Anthony Martial, and the star striker that you paid nearly 90 million for is on the bench. And I know you want to keep him fresh, and I completely get that. And yes, he made a quick impact when he came on to get that 3rd goal. And you could tell, I think Højlund was very frustrated not to start that game. I think you could tell by the body language and the facial expressions that he was not too happy knowing he was going to be on that bench. But maybe he understood, you know what? I do need a break. I need to be fresh. I need to be given a break and let others do the job around me. But I think the formation tonight really backfired. Even though we controlled the game in the first half, we were miles the better team. Newcastle were nowhere near at the races. We need to be better. It's simple as that, really. We need to be better of selecting the best team going forward, because that is not your best team. Playing a false nine shows a weak mentality. Playing a false nine, this is either a thumbs up, a finger up to the Glazers and the board, or this is, I don't know what to do when I've got no Rasmus. And again, we paid 90 million. Just remember, we paid 90 million for Rasmus Højlund. You've got to remember, he's our only striker. I think Ten Hag keeping him on the bench. I don't know what Ten Hag's thinking, because we've played the false nine formation in so many games in the past. We've seen it under Solskjaer, Ragnick, Mourinho, Van Gaal. We have seen the false nine position in so many games under so many different managers, and it shows it doesn't work. And I don't think to an extent it worked tonight. Yes, the first 15 to 16 minutes took me by surprise. It was quite amazing to see United come out and attacking this Newcastle team. I mean, it was nice for United to be attacking at all, because I've not seen any of that since, well, 3 games way before the last 3 Premier League games we played. So, it's, Man United's the team that Ronaldo used to play for twice, and then he left and terminated his contract. Yeah, Willie should have been playing. He needs to take risks, Ten Hag. Yeah, completely agree. Yeah, Cristiano Ronaldo used to play for Man United. We brought him back under Solskjaer when he was the manager of this club, and obviously played under Fergie, and then went to Real Madrid, and then we brought him back from Juventus. And please subscribe, Robert, in the chat as well, and please hit the like button as well. Would really appreciate everyone this evening. So yeah, United playing the false nine, I don't think was working. Even though, we're controlling the game, we are dominating possession, we're dominating the ball, we are basically battering this Newcastle team. I was expecting it to be the other way around. I expected Newcastle to rip us apart. That is the impression I got by last few results. I was looking at it from the bigger point of view, and I was thinking, at the end of the day, are we really going to get anything? You look at the last 3 games, we've got 1 point from 9. We've conceded 6 goals, and we are struggling to get European football. I didn't see us winning this game, if I'm going to be really blunt. I didn't see Man United getting anything from anywhere, because I was struggling to see us scoring goals. I was struggling to see how our defence was going to cope with the amount of pressure and the amount of chances that the opposition were going to create. And again, that was happening tonight. That was happening. There are still too many problems at this club defensively as well as midfield, because when you are so wide open and you are letting Newcastle basically attack you after you take the lead of the game, you've been bloody dominated. I mean, it took us long enough to find the first goal. It took us long enough. I think, was it on the 31st minute? Was it the 31st minute we scored the first goal to take the lead? I don't know if it was, can't 110% remember. But it took us long enough to get the first score, and you think to yourself, let's try and build it. But we couldn't, because we let our laurels down. We basically went back to where we were. We basically decided, at the end of the day, we're going to let Newcastle attack us, and we're going to break them on the counter-attack. That isn't going to work. And Newcastle, luckily, didn't find it closer before half-time. I think that was the positive we could have taken into the second half. We go into that second half, we're 1-0 up. Don't do anything stupid, but it's traditional Manchester United. We shoot ourselves in the foot time and time and time again. And what really frustrates me is the goal we conceded, because again, no one's marking Anthony Gordon. And again, a player that so many top rowing clubs wanted, he went to Newcastle. And for me, he needs to go to a bigger club. And I think he's going to also be very frustrated that tonight, obviously Newcastle have got back in the game, not just once, but twice, but couldn't find anything in the end to rescue any type of a point or a late win. I honestly didn't expect Newcastle to be as crap as what they were in the first half. But the second half, we took our foot off the gas and we just let Newcastle attack us. That is the impression I got from the second half performance. And I think going forward, we need to control the whole game. We can't be taking our foot off the gas. We need to be constantly attacking as a team and defending as a team and fighting for every ball, every challenge and every tackle. We need to be fighting as a team and a unit in every single phase of the game. And I don't think, for me, that really helped. And everyone, please subscribe in the chat if you're new, by the way. Would really, really appreciate it on this Wednesday evening. Hope you're all good. You are all legends. You're all amazing, amazing people. And yeah, I am autistic. Yeah, I'm not afraid to admit it. I've got Asperger's syndrome. I've got anxiety. I'm not afraid to admit it. So yeah, I think it did take quite a long time. It did take quite a lot of effort in the second half to rescue from the draw, because when it went to 1-1, I thought, you know what, Newcastle are going to come out and find a result, aren't they? You just think to yourself, again, this is not going to be Manchester United tonight. It's not going to be anywhere near where we want to be, and we have got to face reality. When it goes to 1-1, I was thinking, do you know what, that's it. That is basically it now, isn't it? Our season's done. We're going to fall away, and it's going to be an absolute car crash for the rest of the season. No European football. We're going to finish 8th, and I mean, I don't need comments like that telling me to lose weight and calling me autistic. Yes, I'm overweight. Yes, I'm autistic. Don't come at me. If any moderators in the chat, please get rid of this kid. Don't dare call me overweight. And yeah, I'm autistic. I'm not afraid to admit it. Go and get a life. Go and get some perspective. And do you know what? Do you know what you're going to do? You're going to fuck off now. Bye. Good riddance. Get fucked. Yeah, sorry about that silly, little virgin in the chat who's got no life and no friends. Absolute pathetic. Absolute pathetic. Calling me autistic. Yeah, I'm not afraid to admit it, mate. And don't call me overweight. Yeah, I might be, but I'm actually working on my fitness now, so don't you dare come at me. How dare he? What a twat. So yeah, what we're talking about. Yeah, United are very, very lucky to have got anything tonight, because I was worried. Like I said, when the Newcastle equaliser went in, it was quite worrying, because we took our foot off the gas and we just let Newcastle, get back into that game way too easy than what I thought. But do you know what? I think another shout and a big admiration at the minute. I mean, a lot of people are saying that Amrabat should not be at this club next season. Well, do you know what? I think we need to reconsider. I think Amrabat, since he's been back in his team, has been nothing more than absolutely phenomenal. And I'm really proud, to call him a Man United player, because I think he's really, really great. I think, he's doing a very good job. And I think, do you know what? He shows what a true Man United player is all about. He's got the defensive work, he's got the admiration of being a Man United player, and he's got the skill and he's got the quality to be able to do the job for Man United on a more permanent basis. And I think he added it in all in his games tonight. I think he was very, very professional. I think his admiration, his performance was commendable. I thought his defensive job was even more fantastic, because I mean, Newcastle had a 2-on-1 situation where I mean, if you're going to call me autistic, fuck off. Do you know what? You're going as well. Fuck off. Absolute twat. Piss off. Call me autistic. Do one, bruv. How many more people do I have to block tonight? I mean, come at me. I'm not afraid of you. You sad virgin. Fuck off. So yeah, Amrabat tonight was absolutely commendable, and I have to give him his plaudits, because I mean, when Newcastle had that 2-1 and Isaac had a 2-on-1 situation, 1-on-1 situation with Onana, you have got to think to yourself, this is going to end one way or another way. This is going to either end Manchester United conceding, we go 2-1 down, or Amrabat from somewhere managed to put the block, but the ball looped over Onana, and you think to yourself, this is going to end up going in, isn't it? And luckily, it hit the top of the bar and went out for a corner. And you think to yourself, that is what you call Amrabat doing the job. He closes the ball down. He does his defensive job. He's been quality since he's been back in that team. He's not been given enough chances. Amrabat has not been given enough opportunities to prove himself either. A lot of people underrate this player. A lot of people don't get what Amrabat's all about. Amrabat should have been given the time and the place to be able to be given a more opportunity Man United shirt. And I think tonight, and especially in the last two games, he has done it commendably. He does his defensive job. He puts his all into United shirt. And if United are considering not giving him a contract extension, I would be keeping him now. I think in the last two games, he has shown more than what some of those players have done all season. And again, Amrabat was meant to come into this team and be a first-team starter. That's what I thought from when we signed him on loan. We paid about 8.6 million euros. for the loan deal from Fiorentina in last summer's transfer window in 2023. So I think Amrabat has done a really, really good job tonight, and I'm really, really impressed with what he's done. And I think tonight, without, beating around the bush about, again, he's also in contention of being one of the man of the match, player of the match contenders, because I think, we looked a lot different with Amrabat in that midfield. We looked so more solid. And I think for me, that says a lot. Maybe we've realised that Amrabat should have been the answer. Maybe we should have got him on a permanent basis, because I tell you what, he's proved his loan fee. I mean, if you're going to call me that, do you know you're going, mate, as well? Piss off. You don't want to like the channel? Piss off. You don't want to watch the content? Fuck off. Bye. That's another one. Keep them coming, people. Keep coming at me, because I'm not scared of you. I'm really not scared. Bring it. I mean, you sad virgin. If you don't like the content, piss off. Simple as that. You don't have to be here. Fuck off. So, yeah, United have done a job tonight, but I think Amrabat, again, has done very, very well from what he's achieved. We've done a lot more tonight without Amrabat in that team. Without Amrabat, I don't think United would have... I think United would have conceded 6 or 7 to Arsenal. And I think tonight, if he doesn't get that one-on-one situation with Isaac against Onana, that ball ends up in the back of the net quite easily. And I think for me tonight, we've managed to do it. So I think Amrabat has to be given his plaudits tonight for what he's done, because he's done a lot for this football club in the last 2 games. And I think United have got to sit down and reconsider this, because I think if you let Amrabat go, you are making a major, major mistake. So I'm hoping we do keep Amrabat. Yeah, you're going as well. Piss off, Bob. Bye. So yeah, tonight is a big, big admiration of what Man United can do if you have the right players playing for you. And I think tonight some of them have made a major, major statement of being professional footballers for this club next season. I think Amrabat needs to be kept. I think Ahmad needs to be given more game time. I think a lot more players tonight have shown that they actually care about this club. And we know who they are. We know who we need to build a team around, and we know which players need to be sold, and we know which players need to be kept. So United, there are a lot of positives from tonight. We've beat Newcastle 3-2, but again, only just. Rasmus Højlund's late winner has kept our European hopes alive, only just. And we head into Sunday now, having to beat Brighton. I mean, you don't think it can get worse, but we now have to beat Brighton on Sunday. I mean, we're having to take this to the last game of the season to try and get into the Europa Conference League. I mean, I can't wait for this season to be over, if I'm being honest with you. I can't wait for this season to be over, because it's just been an monumental mess this season. This Premier League season has been really, really shit. We've seen the 3 promoted clubs get relegated straight away. We've seen Man City again run away with the league. Man United, well, are Man United. And again, Chelsea, Tottenham have missed out on top 4. United have missed out on top 4. I mean, this season's just been chaotic. And do you know what? I can't wait for it to end on Sunday. I really, really cannot wait for it. Once that final whistle goes to the Amex, I will be having to be happy we've somehow got European football, but I'm not going to be jumping up and down and having a sing or song or dance about being Europa Conference League, because that is not where you want to be as a United fan. But we've won tonight and we've got over the line, but only just. I mean, having to win on Sunday to get into Europa Conference League, who would have thought I'd have said that at the end of this? I mean, why am I laughing about it? It's not even funny. We're having to win on Sunday just to get into the Europa Conference League. I mean, the irony of this football club, they put you through the mill, don't they? They absolutely put you through so much. And it's like up, down, up, down. It's more up and down than a hot couple on their wedding night. Honestly, it's more hotter than the sun. I mean, it's more hot than so many other things. And at the end of the day, United have we've got there in the end tonight, but it turned into squeaky bum time in those last 3 or 4 minutes. Once Newcastle got the second goal, you absolutely fucking shit yourself, because you think to yourself, oh, not again. Please don't do this to us. But we've won 3-2, but we've done it only just by a matter of moments. I wish we wouldn't have conceded that second Newcastle goal. Again, that is a major downside tonight, that we've conceded this second goal to Newcastle tonight, because that became really, really tight in the end. We had a 3-1 lead, but again, Lewis Hall was allowed too much free space in the Man United penalty area, so United are paying for that downfall time by letting that second goal in. But we've beat Newcastle 3-2. Rasmus Højlund's late winner has kept United's European hopes alive just. And now we head into Sunday, where it's basically make or break. It's basically make or break. And I'm hoping we manage to get there in the end. I'm managing that we are going to try and somehow rescue European football. But yeah, Old Trafford is falling down. Yeah, it is. You're not wrong. I completely agree with you. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I probably agree with your two comments. I'm not going to lie to you. And yeah, we've won in the end, but it wasn't pretty. But we've somehow managed to get there in the end. And I think player of the match has to go to two players. For me, it goes to Amrabat for his defensive job, especially that moment when Isaac had that one-on-one with Onana and managed to block that shot for the Isaac shot to hit the top of the crossbar. And I think Amad Diallo as well. I feel sorry for United fans. I still feel sorry for United fans. Yeah, so do I. What's your team? What's your team coaster? I'm a Man United fan. No, I agree with I agree with your points. United are a mess. I feel sorry for United fans. I agree with Man United. I feel sorry for everybody, and I respect everybody on this channel. We've managed to get over the line tonight, and that is why I'm giving the player of the match awards to Ahmad and Amrabat, because I think for me those two players were monumental towards Man United's late win tonight. We've beat Newcastle 3-2, but again, it wasn't pretty, but we've got over the line. And now, we move on to Sunday where we play Brighton on the final day of the 23-24 Premier League season. And we've won, we've managed to get over the line, we've done the job. We've beat Newcastle 3-2, but we head into Sunday now, which is make or break. Will United get European football, or will it be no European football in a very, 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 very long time? So yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Hit the like button and the share button. Please subscribe to the channel and the community if you're new. Share the video, hit the tweet button, hit the retweet button. Remember to always remember, put the notification bell on at all times to receive dedicated content right throughout the rest of this year on the channel, on the community, on United Red Devils 20. We've got brand new Fortnite, EAFC, Rocket League, Formula One, Call of Duty, Fall Guys. We've got the summer transfer window covered right throughout this year as well. In the European leagues, we're going to have the EFL, the Premier League covered. We've got the preview for the Brighton game is going to be in the early hours of Sunday morning. No, not Sunday morning. What am I doing? It's going to be in the early hours of Friday morning for the Brighton preview for the final day of the 23-24 Premier League season, where it's make or break for this football club. Will Man United get there? Will we get European football? And I'm going to hate to say it. I'm going to have to say it. That can we get in Europa Conference League? Only time will tell. Speak to you guys soon. You're all legends. You're all legendary. And I'll speak to you guys very, very soon. Thanks for watching.